as of right now, the Cincinnati Bengals have not locked down Ja'Marr Chase with that big money contract, and he might be out week 1 or potentially longer. So we're waiting on the news for that. But a lot of people have questions on Andrei Iosivas, Jermaine, Burton. We're going to be looking at them, whether or not you need them for fantasy football, for redraft, dynasty, DFS, whatever. We're going to go over the advanced analytics, the metrics, how they fit in the scheme, the offense, and everything else. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button because we're doing deep dives on these players every single day. And in season, those top waiver wire claims that you're looking at, we'll do deep dives on those guys every week. On top of that, those guys climbing the depth chart, we'll do deep dives on those guys as well. Click that button. Stop missing out. But Ja'Marr Chase is trending not playing. That is what's coming out. Those are rumors. But we know deals just randomly happen. Spur of the moment. Like you're just randomly sipping coffee or something. Next thing you know, you look at your phone, CeeDee Lamb signed. That's just how that works. And also they're saying, hey, it looks like they are getting signed. Looks like he's not going to be skipping games. Looks like they are working for a contract. They're pushing to get it done. So nobody really knows. They're speculating. They're just trying to get it done. Will it get done? We don't know, but we're planning for both ends here. And looking at the Bengals wide receiver depth charts, Andrei Iosivas, I'm going to call him Yoshi because that's what I call him, and Jermaine Burton. Jermaine Burton's got a lot of upside, a very good rookie. I'm going to talk about him as well. If you saw the thumbnail, I don't know what I'm doing yet. It's probably going to be with Andrei Iosivas because I'm getting the most questions on him. But Jermaine Burton's got a ton of upside, a very good wide receiver. The Bengals got him in the 3rd round, and he can stretch the field. But I look for him to do something or at least get some buzz. Middle of the year somewhere. Climb the depth chart, get some opportunity. But Andrei Iosivas last year and then coming out for the draft, we got good size, adjust athleticism. We got good length. This guy can get downfield, make plays happen. He was looking good at the start of training camp. The buzz was very high about him. It kind of dwindled a little bit at the end of training camp, and it started going more towards Jermaine Burton, especially he was delivering in preseason games. But Andrei Iosivas, he's got a year in the system. He's got speed to burn. He's got good athleticism. And you could see him on the field with Jermaine Burton. Over time, you're going to see him on the field as the wide receiver 3, if not becoming a high-impact wide receiver 3 in this offense. I expect a ramp up here because he is a rookie, but we're seeing some good things happen. We are seeing him ramp up in training camp. At the start of training camp, it was kind of quiet. He did miss some practices, though. But at the end of training camp and preseason, he was making some big plays. And you're looking at Andrei Iosivas. He was a late-round pick, but you was not going to expect him to be on the field much on this team. You just was not, but you were just waiting for him just to flash anything, just to do something. And he did. The final week of the season, week 18, when he got some opportunity. He also had like some 7-point weeks there. But again, you're just looking for some sort of flash out of your late-round picks, especially when you got a good depth chart here like the Cincinnati Bengals do. Ja'Marr Chase, T. Higgins, they're going to get the targets. T. Higgins missed some games last year. Tyler Boyd is gone. He's with the Titans. Those are 96 targets gone, which could be funneled to other wide receivers in the passing game. That is something to look out for in this offense. That could just mean more targets going to Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins, maybe more to the tight ends and a little bit more to the running backs, but that could also mean some spread out to the other wide receivers as well. Trent Irwin is a wide receiver that just pops off randomly in this offense. Another guy to pay attention to. I'm going to talk about the whole spectrum of players, so that's why you need to watch all the You Need videos instead of just looking at the headlines, because I talk about the whole situation with these players. And then looking at this matchup with New England, just in case Ja'Marr Chase is out, typically the wide receiver 1 goes off, and the wide receiver 2s and 3s, they don't amount to much. And you look at the upside players in every game that they face, there was just one game, and it was that second Miami game in week 8. Where the wide receiver 2 went off, along with the wide receiver 1 that went off. That was Tyreek Hill and Waddle in week 8 against Miami. After that, it's usually one wide receiver scoring the bulk of the points and the other guys getting less than 10 fantasy points. Something to pay attention to. And also last year, things are different now, different personnel, but things will likely be kind of close to this. And then also last 3 weeks of the season, they were averaged 19.6 fantasy points per game to wide receivers, something to pay attention to. But you're looking at the roster rates for these players on ESPN.com. They're both being rostered in about 2% of leagues. 98% of leagues that are out there. I like Jermaine Burton as a long-term stash and hold. I like him as that, but more than likely, most of you guys are not going to be able to make him fit on your rosters. Dynasty, he's already a stash and hold. He was a mid-round pick, late second-round pick. Yoshi is a deep stash play you're looking at in Dynasty that could have some upside. In your typical redraft leagues, you're not going to have enough room to stash these guys on your team. Jermaine Burton's a good lottery ticket, but there's also good lottery tickets at running back, and there's more upscale rookie wide receivers to look at. However, you got to pay attention to this wide receiver room. If you're in a deeper league, then you're looking at this. But in Dynasty, they're already stashed in most cases. Already people are looking at them. But you do want to watch it play out. You do need to watch this situation. If you're actually hurting a wide receiver, which you really shouldn't be, you should be good to go with somebody else to really move up there, because I do not see this being a one-for-one thing. I look for T. Higgins to do well if Chase is out. I look for T. Higgins to get deep targets, to get funneled. I look for the run game to get used a bit. I look for the ancillary wide receivers possibly getting their opportunity around the end zone, and that's possibly it, which is hard to rely on. So it's not like you're running to the waiver wire about these guys, but what you actually need to do is just pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on. If you're in a deeper league, you got deeper roster constructions, and one of these guys are on waivers, you may want to think about it for the short term. I like Jermaine Burton more for the long term this season because he's got a lot of upside. He can really turn things around middle of the year, few weeks into the year, and be that wide receiver 3 for him because he's got that talent. He's a tremendous talent, and he could be a guy that they just throw to the wind and they let him run out there, wide receiver 3 range with the other hosses there, and get some opportunity, get some run, and flashes some of that talent, and you want that on the back end of your roster. But also, you got to look at your roster construction. Can you make that hold? Can you make that stash? Because there's other wide receivers, and there's a lot of running backs that you probably would rather stash on your fantasy team. Let me know what you think in your comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.